He claimed he had no idea what happened to her after that. With no solid evidence to hold him, and nothing physically linking him to the crime scene, detectives were forced to let him walk. They knew he was hiding something, but they couldn't prove it, yet. For 4 agonizing years, the investigation hit a dead end. Johnny Johnson slipped further out of reach, living his life as if nothing had happened. But behind the scenes, detectives were meticulously building a wall of evidence against him. They discovered that his phone had pinged off a tower on Bradic Road the very night Sherry went missing. That was a massive red flag, because Bradic Road is exactly where Sherry's remains were found. But Johnny had prepared for this. He claimed he lost his phone 3 days before the incident. A convenient excuse, but detectives weren't buying it. They had his phone records, and those records showed he was actively texting and calling people well after Sherry's disappearance. Johnny was lying. And once the first lie is uncovered, the rest of the house of cards is bound to collapse. Enter Samantha Johnson, Johnny's ex-wife. She walked into the police station with a disturbing secret she had buried for years. She told detectives that Johnny had confessed everything to her. He told her he took Sherry to Bradic Road, shot her, and dragged her body into the woods because he didn't have time to move her far. That statement was the break investigators were waiting for, but a single testimony wasn't enough to secure a conviction. They needed more. It was a quiet October night in Jacksonville, Florida, when the life of a struggling single mother came to a violent and inexplicable end. Sherry Lee Prather was 42 years old. She had spent years battling her demons, substance abuse, and toxic relationships, but she was finally on the mend. Living with her 2 daughters and her mother, Sherry was focused on rebuilding the pieces of her fractured life. But on the night of October 12, 2012, fate had other plans. Around 2:20 in the morning, Sherry left the Boots and Bottles Tavern after a fun night out with friends. She was supposed to go home. She never showed up. Her sudden disappearance sent her family into a panic. They immediately reported her missing, and police began scouring the area. They interviewed bar patrons and the owner, but the trail went cold almost immediately. It seemed like Sherry had vanished into thin air. But just 1 month later, the search would take a horrifying turn that shook the entire community to its core. On November 12th, a childhood friend of Sherry's daughter stepped forward with crucial information. She told detectives that her uncle had revealed something chilling. He had found a body dumped near Bradic Road, and he was convinced it was Sherry. That tip sent officers straight to the location, and what they discovered was a scene unlike anything they had ever witnessed.